Ladies.
Hi.
So it feels a little twinish. I'm gonna admit, you two look a little like, I mean, you kind of look a lot. I said a little, but a lot alike in this moment right now. They're not twins, audience, but they are sisters. Like for real. Like we're all sisters, but they're actually like blood sisters. So, how are you, ladies? What's happening?
Good. I'm good. I know I thought to myself, I said, dang, it's been a long time since I sat down and talked to Kenya, but but doing well, just, navigating life and doing my best to remain grounded and positive amidst all the chaos of this world that we live in, but doing well otherwise. Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. You look I follow and I see you and we text here or there. So I know you're alive and good. But we got your sister here today too. We have Karma. Karma, how are you?
Hi, I'm well. Thanks for having me, Kenya, and my sister KEISEAN. She is my eldest and wisest sister of all, obviously. I love to claim that I secretly am her favorite of the sisters. I'm in slight competition with our youngest sister for KEISEAN's favorite, but that's neither here nor there. But no, I'm well. Thanks for having me.
You know what? One day I would love to talk to you guys just about sisters. Cause how many girls? It's five girls? Four girls and one boy. That's I think that's really special. But tonight we're not gonna talk. We're gonna kind of talk about sisterly love. We're gonna talk about what's scrolling down here, Dance for Body Empowerment and Healing. But before we really get into that, Keyshawn and I typically, when we do our Black Her story, we kind of just check in and just kind of see how we're all feeling and if there's any like hot topic. Obviously, there's just so much happening, like you said, Keyshawn. But is there anything more that maybe is of joy, of upliftment, that is something you want to be able to share before we get into this juicy topic? Because it's going to get juicy in a moment. But for you, Keyshawn, anything that is of levity?
Let's see, of levity, of light.
Of levity?
Well, I have a meeting on Friday with another nonprofit organization based out of Los Angeles that's a Black women-led organization. And if all goes well, I will be contracted as a consultant with a second nonprofit, which apparently is a sector that I never knew I was going to do so well in. But apparently the universe is like, help the people make the world a better place. So I'm excited about that.
I
So
love
maybe
it.
next time I see you, I'll be reporting that I actually got the contract. But for now, it's good news that they actually want to meet with me and they're interested in my proposal, and so that's good.
I love that. Congratulations. And it's always, isn't it always the spaces that you had no anticipation? That's, yeah. Oh, were you
I
saying
muted
something?
myself by accident. No, it is that, and it's interesting because what happens when you're vague with your requests from the universe, and you say, I just want to work with organizations that do good in the world. You don't necessarily know what that's going to look like. And when I reached out to this organization and I looked at their website and I was like, oh, this is a Black women led organization. They have like 12 different members of their organization. Everybody's Black, everybody's a woman. And I'm just like, wow, it's just like I couldn't have designed it better if it was my organization myself. So it's a perfect place for me to
Oh,
be.
wow. That's exciting. Congratulations. That's a good levity. That's a good win. I don't know if I can match that. But yes, that's a good win. I will say I've been having a lot. I just got back from Florida. I was in Florida presenting. I know Florida kind of gets a womp womp. But listen, I'm gonna say this. I was sitting on the beach, and it was 80 and there was a breeze. And yes, I gave Florida my love because I'm sorry, I know, whatever. I know there's a lot going on in Florida, but I really needed the rest. And on top of that, I got to present some work that I'm doing. I had a proposal that I submitted, it got accepted, I presented it at this conference, and really good feedback and love and support, and got universities wanting to take on a program that I'm doing. So, yes. Yay. So that's my levity. And then I went to New York and saw Robert Glasper and Amber from Moonchild, and they were just on fire and it was beautiful. So that's my levity. So, and we want to welcome those in the audience. We have Damio and we have Baraka 127, peace and love, smileys and laughter. And I am excited to bring Karma because so Karma and I have been doing a literal dance in trying to connect again with each other. And I'm not gonna because I don't want to take up too much time, and I want to make sure we get into our questions, and I want you all to be able to ask Karma questions in the audience. Keyshawn's probably got some separate questions that we all want to like just be very in the moment, but it was because Keyshawn, I don't even know how I you got me. I don't remember, but some kind of way I found Karma, and I don't know. Did you say something to me one day and said I have a sister that does? How did I find her?
We do have a tendency to self-promote and cross-promote each other's what we do. I mean, I have three sisters and a brother, and my three sisters in particular, two of them have stepped into roles as coaches, as teachers, as guides, as facilitators, as leaders. And so somewhere within our clubhouse conversations that predated even our YouTube conversations, the karma came up when you were planning for, I think, your 50th birthday
Yes,
celebration. And I
yeah.
shared that she creates these, private experiences for folks specifically around their birthdays. And you guys just took it from there.
We took it. I got on your IG page, and y'all, and we got to put Karma's IG, like, because if you once you go into her IG and TikTok, the rabbit hole begins. The rabbit hole begins of I don't know. For me, when I saw so Karma is, and I'm gonna let her explain what it is she does. But I was introduced to her as a dance instructor, but a sensuality dance instructor, and I've always been very into dance. Like I know in a past life I had to have been a dancer because I cannot really dance. But I love to watch people dance. I just love it. It like it makes me cry. I get really into it. So when I got down the rabbit hole of Karma's page and I saw her mixture of beauty and of sensuality and of movement and good music, it just captured me. And so yes, I ended up having a 50th, an intimate 50th birthday soiree, and Karma kicked it off by doing a sensuality dance class with us. So Karma, please talk to our people. Maybe just let them know who are you, what is it that you do, and then we've got some more goodies of questions that we want to ask.
Okay, no problem. I am Karma Rains. I am a creative director, choreographer, movement coach, and an extreme body freedom, body empowerment advocate. Anything that has to do with dance and movement, those are my tools. That's my language. It's how I communicate. It's how I help women heal and men, non binary, however you identify. Everybody has a body and everybody carries some type of trauma or energy that they no longer want to hold inside their vessel. And I'm definitely biased, but I believe that like the number one way to release it is through movement. It doesn't have to be Janet Jackson, Beyonce Renaissance choreography, anything. Like when you think of just grassroots jumping up and down or the African, diaspora of drum circles, just literally being in a circle with one percussion and literally physically shaking your body. So for me, I know I've seen it, I've felt it myself. It's literally saved my life. However, just being in the role that I am right now in the past 3 to 4 years, specifically with what I built as the founder of Sensuality by Karma, I know that it heals. I know that sensual movement specifically is something that women and for sure Black women need. They need the space to be able to get 1,000% in tuned with sensuality, with being sexy, with being confident in their skin, and knowing that it has less to do about the act of physical sex, because some people don't ever even want that. They just want to be able to have self intimacy and understand what that means. So that's my area that I felt called to. And it started to sink in, I would say 2019, and then for sure 2020 when all of us had to sit on our ass and recognize, so what am I supposed to do? And then you go through that transition over the few years, and then you realize, oh, there's a reason that I've always been connected to like body image and body healing and body empowerment, being in the dance world, having my own issues with body dysmorphia, and understanding my body, not liking it. All of those layers started to present themselves, and I said, okay, I have to do something with this. And then it just kind of evolved into sensuality by Karma. And then the creative director in me has never left. I work with music artists, artist development, music videos, tours outside of like this realm. There's a whole other director inside of me. And then I just recently launched my by Karma Rain dance company. I'm really proud of my baby. You spoke about light things earlier. That's like my big win, or my big energy, positive light moment, is being able to say, you know what, I don't see this space being created for adults over the age of 30, non-professionals, retired dancers, injured dancers, recovering from injuries, people who just love to dance. So I'm going to create that. And so we just finished our first little like soft launch run, and we did a whole production day over the weekend, and I can't wait for everybody to see it. So that's a little bit about me.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. And I'm going to pass the mic to KEISEAN to kind of kick us off on some other questions. But I just want to, again, congratulate you. I see you working hard. Obviously, I've been in class with you, so I know what it feels like to experience what you deliver. So just a big ups to you. Big ups. Big ups.
Yep. Good job, girl. You're following all the instructions that I gave you. Good job.
You raised her right. You raised her right. Now, Mama is, look at this. Look
She's
at
in
my
the audience.
beautiful
Hey,
daughter.
Mom.
Mama is here. She is here.
Yes. And Keola said first soft launch, period. Nothing. We don't do anything little, FYI. That's not what we do.
Yes, that's the other
Everything we do
sister.
is
That's
big.
the other Raid
That's
sister.
one of the other Rain sisters. Yeah. What's up, sister? Well, one question I have for you, sister, is how would you say that the media and social media has impacted your journey of body empowerment and healing within your body?
There's a negative impact, and then there's a positive. So I'm going to start with the negative to just get that shit out the way. Negatively, it's always impacted me once I became aware that your mind can be conditioned in seconds as to how you're supposed to look, from your curl pattern to the darkness or lightness of your skin, to the fullness of your nose, to the cellulite, the dimples, like all of that shit. It impacted me and affected me, I would say, for a good part of my adulthood, once like Instagram became like a thing. And it's crazy because I can look back at pictures from even from 2020 and vividly remember telling myself at that time, like, oh, you're gaining weight, and that's because you stopped touring. And that means this is you start to chip away at yourself, and then you start to compare. When it's crazy for me to look at that picture, and then I look at a picture from like 3 years ago that's on Instagram, and I'm like, I was miserable. That's why I didn't have any meat on my bones and this and that. But then also society viewed that as, you're healthy, you're active, you look good. But then fast forward to 2020, when I started gaining my weight and became my woman's body, is what I started understanding. Then it was, oh, that's great. Oh, we love it. You have a butt, you have this, you have that. Not knowing, they didn't know on the inside, I didn't really like what I was seeing. So the effect of social media negatively for sure worked. I can't even bullshit you guys. It worked. It did its job as far as like the dark realm of it. And then positively affected me once I started getting on my healing journey and understanding, why was I letting myself stay rooted in my triggers from social media, from body images, from negativity, from that, and then what am I going to like do with it to turn it into positivity? And for me, it was just speaking my truth, literally saying this to whoever would listen, which was, no, it didn't feel good. Yeah, I didn't like the way that I looked. I thought that I was too heavy. I thought that I was too full. I didn't understand it. And then started going way back to like childhood, growing up around majority white people. being the only Black family for so long, thinking that I was too Black. My skin, I needed to be lighter, like KEISEAN or like my mom. Like, I just started spitting out shit. And that became more relatable than anything else. So, to be able to use social media in a positive way, I believe the number one way you can do that is to be honest. Be honest with your audience. And it's impacted the positivity side because without it, I wouldn't have the sensuality community. These women that have never met me other than Instagram. I took a huge gap from teaching after touring and then came back and I had to start all over again. So if it wasn't for social media and the power that it does have over the mind, I wouldn't be able to use it for the positive side of it. But it's definitely it's Libra. It's a scale. It goes up and down. That's the best way. I'm a Libra. So
I just say it's the perfect. That's why you do it so well, because you are a Libra and you're balancing and creating that harmony. Yeah, thank you for that. Oh, go ahead, Keisha.
Oh no, I was just going to ask a question on the social media topic because I imagine as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a facilitator, a community leader, that social media is a big part of how, like you just said, how people find you and how people connect with you. So my question is, how do you manage or navigate some of the negative feedback that I imagine you get from people who don't really understand what Sensuality by Karma actually is about? How do you manage that?
how do I navigate or manage the negative feedback that does for sure, just confirming what you said, yes, that I get towards sensuality. At first, I instinctually just wanted to respond back to the comments and say, I cuss a lot. Also, everybody forgive me. But F you,
Right.
you must hate yourself. That's instinctually what I wanted to say. I'm sorry you hate yourself. Now, at some point, I think I did say that to somebody, but it was like different verbiage. I think I said, like, I feel really sorry that you don't like who you are. I made it be like a little bit more eloquent, but instinctually, I want to defend what I know to be true. And now, I would say in the past year, I just understand that everybody's going to have an opinion about specifically being sensual and sexy because of the hypersexual energy that's around women's bodies in this country that we live in, specifically Black women, and also just the dance world professionally. All you see is a lot of heels classes, and majority of the girls are just on the floor, and some of them don't really understand what they're, because they're young dancers. They don't really understand why they're being asked to go on the floor, what that connection is. So I think there's an oversaturation of what you think you're supposed to look like when you think of sensuality. And then there's definitely a high percentage of just misconceptions, misunderstanding, taboo, also just like shame. They put shame on women's bodies, and shame is, I think, the number one, if you want to say, weapon, or can be weaponized to take away your joy of your body and movement. And so being aware of that, that's what helps me navigate. And just, I'll delete them. If someone's being completely offensive, especially if it's a comment about one of the women in my classes, I will destroy you. That's about as easy as just destroy. What that means, I don't know. It depends on the day and my mood. Am I being kind, light Libra destroyer, or am I just wrath? Like, it just depends. But yeah, you get to the point where it can't affect me, because when I look at the rooms that I'm in and I see these women, nobody can take that away from me. Nobody can take their testimonies from me, their joy, the tears of joy, the tears of breakthroughs. I don't care what anybody has to say. Like, it won't stop me. So that was a good question.
That was. These are really both of those questions regarding social media, because, obviously that's how I found you. I know, like you said, so much of your community is really finding you. I mean, and when I say that's how I found you, meaning, yes, KEISEAN mentioned, but it was the social media that got me like, whoa, like this is on another level. And so I guess and we have more ladies coming in. Welcome, welcome. And ladies, if you have questions, or you want, to make any comments, or particularly though, if you have a specific question for Karma, please put it in the chat so we can, ask. But So speaking of your classes, I wanted to ask because I took your class. It was a intimate situation in that I brought my girlfriends, and I really, when I work with artists, whether they are performing artists or visual artists, I like artists to be artists. So I'm very like, you just do what you do because we'll follow. And so I did not really know what to expect. I'm like, well, ladies, wear something sexy, come comfortable. I don't know. It's a sensual dance. And they're like, okay, So I want to talk about the experience you give. And I know for me, yes, there were tears during our session. Lots of releases. I think the women had no idea they were going to feel what they felt. But maybe describe kind of what, if a woman was to go say, I want to experience this class, what should they expect? How is that class facilitated, and kind of what is that? What do you bring to the space so that the ladies can experience?
Okay. Very layered question. So that's good. So we'll start with, if a new group of ladies were coming to me, or they booked a private experience with me, or were even taking an open class. Two different things. So what Kenya and her tribe experienced was a private curated sensuality workshop. So you have like 2 hours with me. With more time, you get more karma magic. And so if they were to come and book something like that with me, it's hard, and KEISEAN can attest to this, to write a description about what you will experience, like detail for detail. Whereas if you went to an Orange Theory and I were the fitness instructor, and I can say, you're going to do this circuit, these moves, and you'll rest. So with what I do, there's a format and a structure to, you'll have a warm up, we'll do some icebreakers, you might learn a cute little routine, and then that's like the basis of it. But to put into words what you experience is something that is very spiritually and energetically led, that cannot be described in words. And so that's also one of the tricky parts for me, to both of my interviewers right now, when it comes to promoting what I do, because that will go over the human mind. They're like, I don't understand what you mean by spiritual. And it's like, I don't. So am I going to become Janet Jackson or not? And I'm like, sure, yes, I will fuel you to where you will feel literally like her. I can guarantee that. That's how confident I am in my teaching skills and my ability to make everybody feel comfortable. But the experience itself is one that's filled with liberation and uncomfortability and vulnerability. And if you're willing to come into a space like that, then there's no way that you won't leave feeling electrified and like you got more than what you expected for, that was your first thing you said to me, Kenya. And I think we were like gently wrapping up. You literally looked at me like eyes wide open, grabbed my hands, and just like, this was not what I expected, like this, in the best way. And I knew exactly what you meant, because majority of my clients, that's their response. And when I get that response, that lets me know, okay, cool, I did exactly what I was supposed to do. Each is completely different. Each group is different. Everybody's unique. Everybody comes with different armor on them. Just even the person that booked comes with a little bit of armor. And definitely the women that are with them are like, girl, I don't know. I'm coming because you said it's your birthday. That's it. That's your birthday present, is me being here.
Yes. Well, that was, I want to say this. I want to follow up when you said armor. I think that for me was the biggest surprise, was just how armored as Black women we were, me and my girlfriends, how much weight, how much guarding that each of us was carrying. And I think what was beautiful is we were able to hold, you facilitated not only you holding the space, but teaching all of us to hold the space for each other in the movement, in the stillness, in the freedom. And I think that's what really, I had no idea that we were going to. I thought, yes, we're going to learn some sexy moves, and we're going to feel strong about our bodies because we're sexy, and I was ready. But then you were like, look at her and hold. I'm like, oh, I got to hold my sister. Like I didn't know I was gonna have to hold my sister literally, physically, and energetically to let her fall apart to get the armor. And that was what was so powerful. Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that's the part, to Karma's point, that is hard to, it's hard to put it into language for people to understand. It can be challenging to make it into a quick blurb or a log line or a hashtag, because something really unique happens when people show up in a space intentionally and courageously, knowing that they're going to be moving their bodies. Especially, these are not professional dancers, these are not performers. These are some people who've never even looked at themselves in a mirror longer than it takes to brush their teeth and move on. So to have people in their bodies showing up in a room, quite literally taking off layers physically, and taking off layers of clothing and wardrobe, and seeing each other at the same time, and then seeing themselves in each other at the same time. There's something that's really transformational that happens in these rooms. And of course, I've had the privilege of being in several workshops and classes, not privates, but several workshops and classes with Karma. And what I like seeing is the transformation from the way they walked in the door to the way that they left. And it's very much like, yes, hunty, I am here. I have arrived. Here I am. And they might have came in the door like Shy Violet, so that is what I think is really powerful too. And sometimes that's hard to put into words.
Yeah. I'm gonna put this statement up here because it's kind of long, but they have a. First of all, Jason Good, thank you for being in the space.
What's up, Jason?
Power and the energy in the room. Yes, yes. Thank you for being here. And then Giovanna has, let's read here. Karma, I'm so proud of you and your incredible journey. I've enjoyed watching things unfold for you. Do you remember the moment you realized, hey, this is the healing I'm bringing into the world? Ooh. Do you remember that moment?
Hi, Gigi. um, I remember the season, like seasonally. And I believe it was February. I actually remember the month. February 2022. So last year at the top of February. I knew that it was going to be a healing space, a healing journey for not just myself, but everybody that would come into the spaces that I created, no matter what building I was physically in. And it was my very first sensuality workshop of that year. And I had a handful of ladies who did not know me. They only came there because it was a brand new studio and we had been marketing for it. I had maybe a handful of my girlfriends that like knew me, but everybody else was brand new. And in that space, from exactly what KEISEAN described, the majority of those ladies who were Black women were not having it, and were just like, first of all, I don't know who this little bitch is. She got this little booty, and this is like, I remember these because they're my people today. They're a part
Why
of
she trying to tell me to take my pants off? Why she trying to tell me to look myself in the mirror? All those things.
all the things. And I was like, but not one of them left. Not one single. And that's usually my first scanner is like, okay, I'm aware of who I'm talking to. Let me see. I always will do my best to make, kind of set the rules at the top, let them know you have the right to walk out if you're uncomfortable, anything's triggering to you. You can literally leave the building and never come back. Like, I don't want you to feel like you're not trapped here. But by the end of that night, whoever thought that they were going to keep their blanket on, like physical, like coat, jacket, and scarf, were basically fully in their underwear and panties and bras, rolling on the floor. Tears were shed, mirror work. That was my first time, KEISEAN and Kenya, that I got to do full true mirror work, because that year before I was starting to really understand what it was, what that looked like. I researched with KEISEAN, my other sister Keola, reading things, understanding things. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm supposed to do this on this one. Didn't plan. I never had planned to do a mirror work drill. And I did it. And that I was starting to cry. And I was like, this is it. So to answer your question, G, yeah, last year, at the top of last year, which also just set me on fire. And I was like, okay, I can't stop. I have to keep going.
I love that. Thank you for that question, Giovanna.
And I will be traveling to Cleveland. Correct, Gigi. Send me the dance studio. Send me the studio. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, Rain's family, we travel. We were in Utah last year. That was, ma'am, that was an experience. Being in Salt Lake City. I thought we were going to walk into just the land of the Mormons, but it was that for me, in addition to like what we've experienced here in LA, Karma, the Salt Lake City experience and seeing those women, particularly from this highly conservative, highly religious environment, come and leave their whole lives on the floor and just be in their whole moments. Again, there's a reason why it's important for women to gather. And what I also like is when there are men in the space, because they're not excluded. However, it does primarily tend to be women who come to the workshops and come to the classes. But what's great is that women who, outside of the four walls of the rooms where Karma brings people together, have to button up, have to tighten up, have to cover, have to put on their armor and their shield and be a woman in the world. They can come into this room for 90 minutes or 2 hours and they can leave all that shit at the door. And then they're going to leave with someone that they didn't know when they came in. They're going to see a commonality with another person. They're going to see their struggles in another human being, and they're going to leave with a sense of community. And I think that's another big thing that people don't understand fully about what Sensuality by Karma is actually about. It's about building community, not just the movement, but the community that you leave with when you walk out those doors.
Yeah, completely. And that community piece, and Karma, I want to kind of talk to you about a little more about community, because again, that was the other thing that I didn't, and I know the ladies in my group did not realize. I mean, these were women, these are all friendships of mine. I have traveled a lot and lived in different places and what have you. So I intentionally, for my 50th, decided to invite girlfriends from across the nation really to come together. So most of these women had never shared space together. So I was the connector there. So you kicked off the birthday, fun. And then afterwards we did a private dinner. A friend of mine is a chef in LA. And so she fixed us this beautiful dinner. But because we had shared that intimacy and community that way, we came to Denver to dinner as if we were like all been, like friends forever. And I will say we've started a book club, and we've like built this community. So I want you to really understand the ripple of the community, because once you've seen your sister cry on the floor in her panties, like I mean, like I got you, girl.
Talk of vulnerability. It's like it's exposed. It's like when you're with your sister when she starts her cycle for the first time. You're not going to just leave her hanging. Like it's a bond. And when you bond by body bonding, like when you go even partnership, there's a reason why, like forever our parents say like don't have sex because blah, blah, blah. Even though we know now, no, put the religious shit aside. We know as adults what that means to physically bond yourself to somebody by way of the act of sex, of intimacy, or just intimacy, exchanging energy together, having nothing to do with sex, just seeing me in my most rawest birth skin, state. And as women, specifically Black women, my brown women, my just women of color, like having that moment with each other, I know is because I have the benefit of coming from a tribe of women There's a lot of women in my family for a reason. I know it's not by mistake. I know how healing that is. And I also know how powerful it is. And I know that that is also the number one reason why society wants to prevent that from happening. Because if we truly were all to vocalize and literally link arms, nothing could stop us. Period. End of the sentence. End conversation. Good night and goodbye. Like, that's it.
Oh, girl, absolutely. Our power is vast. It is vast.
Absolutely. And I think what there's something that Karma does in her workshops, and I'm not going to tell you what it is so that the next time she opens up enrollment, you will book it immediately so you can understand what happens. But there's one particular exercise that she does that the first time I saw it, I had to step back because I will often, she's expanded now. She has a media team. But when we first started out, it was just me and a tripod on my iPhone, right? And there was a moment where I had to put the phone down to just be in it because I was like, I don't want to miss this with my actual eyes. I don't want to miss this. I want to be in this experience. And it was interesting to me to literally see women showing themselves to themselves and to each other in a way that they probably have never done before. And not just showing physically, but really showing who they are, expressing themselves. And it's one of those things where I saw Gigi's comment, let's keep these bitches apart. That's what they try to do. They try to keep us apart. And so this particular exercise is where some of those body bonds, trademark of Karma by Karma Reigns, where those body bonds are formed is in this particular moment. So yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm just reading through some of the comments too. Thank you so much, G. That's right. Gigi did find me when I did Booty Pop Fridays. I started that again during COVID lockdown pandemic. I just started doing Instagram lives, Kenya. Like literally every Friday would just get on, and it was my cardio dance fitness format I had created years before. And I said, you know what? I need to move my body. And it was also always rooted in body empowerment, body freedom, body acceptance, jiggle your ass, embrace this, twerking, winding, like really unblocking that root chakra, all of those things, right? That was also something that it was difficult to explain to people what it was. Like they needed to experience it on their own. So thank you for that reminder, G. I appreciate it. Mommy chiming in. Thank you all. Yeah, this is awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, you got lots of love, lots of love. Roses, Letitia sent, I think, a heart rose, and I love that. And I'm looking at our clock. I'm like, how has it been 40 minutes? And I'm going to be respectful of your time. I'm going to be respectful. But a couple more things, and then I'm sure KEISEAN may have, a couple more. But how are you? Because I think as artists, I consider myself, I'm not a dancer, but as a singer, when you're an artist, you're giving and you're giving and you're pouring into. And then you got to remember self. And you kind of alluded, obviously with dance, you can do it for yourself. Same with music, I can sing for myself. But is there anything specific that you do for your self care? I mean, you're running a business, you are a creative. We haven't mentioned this, but you're a wife, you're a sister, you're a daughter, you're these others roles, right? And when you're managing a business, as you know clearly, that is its whole beast. That's its whole thing. And then as artists, we have to then step in that role as well. What are you doing to really take care of yourself so that you can continue to pour and give to others?
That's a great question. What am I doing to take care of myself so that I can continue to pour into others? At the beginning of this year, I wasn't doing anything. My sister and my family know, and those close to me, when I see the goal and the plan is done, I go. I just go, 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 go. And I stay on until I'm completely empty. And that's also because I have this extra amplified battery of just passion for what I do. And I'm constantly fighting the outside world who thinks that dance is like nothing. It's not that important. There's no way that this heals people. Da, da, da. The professional dance world has its own thing. And then what I'm creating outside of the pro dance world. So that was me for like the first 6 months. And then I've hit a huge, big wall, like May going into June. to where I was ready to quit. I was like, nope, I'm done. Never mind. That was enough.
Oh, wow.
I healed enough people. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. Literally, like, had a whole conversation with my sisters. It was a whole thing. And I was like, no, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. Like, this feels good. We're going to quit right now. And the reason why I felt that way was because I wasn't giving myself time to restore. I wasn't purging myself from all of that energy that I was empathizing with in classes, in work, in private sessions, one-on-one. I get so many one-on-one clients. Those require even more energy from me than a group of 40, 50, 100 women, because singularly, like, it's a different funnel and a different, like, charge that I have to do. Whereas a huge group, they know I can't pay attention to all of you, but I'll give you what I got. Like Beyonce, I'm gonna give you what I got. Whoever's in front of me, that's what you're gonna get. I might acknowledge that you're in the back, but I don't know. But you will have a great experience.
Right.
So going through that and recognizing not resting, no restoration, no just time for me, wasn't checking in with my partner, wasn't checking in with my family, my friends, not really like that. And then I wasn't being honest with my community that I had built, which was, guys, I don't want to do anything else for you. And it's not your fault. It's me. I wasn't shutting off. I wasn't putting up boundaries. Just even a communication. Don't DM me. Don't use my personal number. I had to get a Google number. I had to get an actual email, like all of the business side, because I was too accessible. And I realized I can't be that accessible. When you are in the role of being a healer and a teacher and a leader, you just can't. And then having a conflicting battle with that, because I'm like, well, then isn't that bad? Does that make me be mean? Like, if I'm like, I don't want to talk to you right now. But I had to realize, no, it's better for me to do that than just show up and force it, because then I would do something out of character. My integrity would be compromised. For me, as who I am, Karma, and Karma the leader, and sensuality and everything I built, I didn't want to do that. And then switching into that and also understanding why I wanted to quit was out of fear of the unknown and the level of success that I knew and know that I can attain, because that comes with responsibility. And if I can't manage my emotions now, how am I going to be able to do all of those things were happening? So I say that because if you don't, as artists and creatives, implement some type of system for yourself to rest and to truth speak to yourself, your community that you've built, the community you were born in, the community that you choose, speak your truth to them, you're going to fail in a more negative, detrimental way than how you have to fail as a business, you're going to fail. That's a part of it. But there's those big failures that will just weigh you and suck you into the abyss, and you'll never get out of it. That's why you see the blogs or you see the posts that say rest, self-love, self-care. It sounds like bullshit because it's overly saturated, but there's so much truth in that. And figure out what that means for you. Your self-care, KEISEAN's, is different than mine. Self-love is different than mine. Alone time is different than mine. You know what I'm saying? Neither one is right or wrong. Just do what you got to do to keep your mental health and physical, like, health intact, because without it, you're useless. That's my truth that I have to say right now.
Yeah, we must be related, because earlier today I was having a conversation with my good friend Jason about what you touched on, which is the thing that was making you want to quit was the fear of, like, getting bigger, becoming more visible, becoming more well known. And because of the way we operate, we carry a sense of responsibility. You know, we carry a sense of accountability and like a sense of integrity with everything that we do. So this idea of, like, holy shit, what if I really do blow up? What if I really do become a household name? I'm never going to sleep again, and everybody's going to want to be my friend. So we just will stay small or quit. So I'm glad you touched on that, because we know we don't allow each other to quit ever, especially if it's something that we feel passionate about. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Thank you.
But I'm so glad you were honest about that, because that fear, I mean, when you said that, I had to think about all the things I've said. No, yeah, I'm good. I'm not doing that no more. Like, I had to, I was like, let me. Let me think about that because I do that on the
You got to
regular.
be honest. We literally, girl, we will stop ourselves like dead in our tracks because you don't know. And for sure, as an artist in the realm of singer and dancer, I believe we're not synonymous, but we're like, we're right with each other. Without
Mhm.
my singers, sure, could I create to instrumentals? 1,000%. But my musicians, you don't have to speak. You don't have to say nothing. Just play the note correctly. Dancers, you do sometimes have to speak. You have to act. You have to move your body. You have to make it be believable. Singers, you are emoting a deeper emotion that I then have to match.
Yeah.
So for us, girl, if we create something and we're like, this is shit, nobody's gonna like it. You'll delete the whole thing. Just
Yeah.
delete the song, delete the it's all gone, everything gone. Literally, we'll stop ourselves
Yep.
because of self-criticism, assumption, somebody's not gonna, but like, why do we do that? Why? When you go back to why you even created art in the first place.
It is so hard, and I tell people for singer versus musician that plays an instrument, when a musician on a piano, when he hits the key that's a E, it's a E, unless the piano's out of tune, but that doesn't have anything to do with him. That E is a E. When I sing, I hope it's an E. I'm trying to make it match to be that, but depending how confident, how tired, how energetic, how much I practice, how much I'm breathing, it may never be an E. I don't know. And you don't know until it comes out your mouth. And so, yes, it is a very, very much. And I will say this. I was thinking about Beyonce with this, tour. And of course, I'm looking at Beyonce from a technical musician, like how the fuck is she doing this? Because I know that to perform every night for 7 months or however long she did this, I'm just like, how the fuck she do this? And I did have someone who said she literally had a complete wellness team, like just not just your doctor on, no, like a full wellness team, just so that, because I'm like, she has to, just to be able to get on that stage each day to keep her ability. And I'm like, okay, so to your point of, you can't just quit. Like, it's like, if I'm gonna do this, then I gotta scale up and get the support to help me keep doing this, because I have many a time want to quit.
And this is where I come in, the wellness team. There it is. To keep all you creatives from going off the deep end.
Literally, I'm like, her son is me, I am him. We're both Libra babies. He's what, 3 days before me. But yeah, we've had multiple conversations where she's like, damn, you sound like Seth. And I'm like, well, see, he's 22 and I'm 38. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's a thing. We're also Libras. So like understanding the sign and the moods and
Libra is a tough energy. Understand
yeah.
that Libra is the it actually doesn't. Is a tough. It's a tough sign, especially if it's your sun sign, because the sun is where we're supposed to shine, but the Libra wants harmony, and that's not really possible all the time. So when it doesn't have the harmony, it feels so off. So it will want to kind of just not be, because if I can't be in that space, so it wants to shine, but only within balance, and that is what makes Libra a challenge as a sun sign. But it's a beautiful sign because they do want the harmony, and that's the thing. That's the thing. All right, we're getting close to our time. I think. Let me see. We're seeing so many good comments here. Between Jason and Giovanna, they're just, you
I
guys
was
gotta
like,
look at their
Jason and
comments.
Gigi are coming with all the life balance and career balance deserve constant restoration. We got human creation
Yes.
strives for perfection in the eyes of the creator. To create is to give your best self. Hell yeah. Yeah.
Whoops. Hold on. I
Yeah.
got to put that. Yeah.
That's what our dad,
Yeah.
what does daddy always say? Aim for perfection and grab excellence along the way. That's
Yeah.
the goal, because and yes, What did you do?
She put, I
There's
want to
so
see
much good
this.
stuff.
I know it is. It's hard being a creative because the spirit is flowing and you don't know what the fuck spirit is going to do, right? And when the spirit is done using you, there you are left to take the consequences. Girl, come on. Yes. I'm on break from music and I'm gonna have to reevaluate, to be honest, after hearing you, because I had to stop because I just felt, and it wasn't, I don't know, I'm constantly trying to evaluate why can't I get myself back in it, I have some very obvious reasons, but I keep trying to peel back the layers. But I also recognize this is a time for me to do this kind of work. And if I was doing music, I wouldn't be able to do these conversations. I wouldn't be able to do the soul work that I do, the astrology, all of these things. So, well, I don't want us to be able to leave with that. People absolutely need to know how to get in touch with you, what they need to do, how they follow, what, tell us the goods, what's coming up, what you want people to know.
Hold on,
Okay,
let me
so
pull out the press release. Hold on, let me
I
see.
know,
yeah,
right?
John
I
silly.
am going to put your webs. I think this is, oh, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I think I had your, did I have your
You
website up
might have my
here?
website. Well, I very much am a Libra, so that's by Karma Reigns. I'm consistent pretty much across the board. That's the website. My IG handle is the same, but there's just a dot. So it's by dot Karma Reigns.
Mm.
There also is an IG that I newly launched for sensuality. So you can type in sensuality by Karma. That handle is also linked on my main business page, the by Karma Reigns. So it's easy. All my link trees are linked there. So the website that Kenya put up, everything is on there. There's a TikTok, sensuality by Karma. Just search Karma Reigns. I don't know what you're
Yes.
gonna find on Google, but hopefully, just kidding.
She's
Whatever's on
Googleable.
there,
You're Googleable.
I'm Googleable.
You can Google.
Googleable. If you see some crazy
Yes.
shit, great. That's what you need. Anyways, I have nothing to hide. It is what it is. The raw, the better. But yes, no, all my socials are there. Everything also is linked on my website too. So if you're a website person, just go to my website. You'll be able to get my IG, TikTok. My email contact is in there as well. And currently on my plate is finishing out the year as, I would say, as electric. Electric's always like a word that stays with me. As electric as I can, and welcoming in transitions that I know are already happening that are going to take me into next year. I have 2 more weekly classes in the month of November. All that information is on my website as well. And then I have the end of the year sensuality celebration. This will be my annual sensuality celebration. Everybody show up naked. Just kidding. Have clothes on.
You're not kidding.
No, but it'll be at the top of December. I'm really excited for that. We're gonna have some, like, I don't know, treats and prizes to give away. I have my good girlfriend Issa. She's a female DJ. I have a DJ in the house. We'll have some baked goods, vendors. There will, of course, be movement and dancing led by me, but it's not going to be like a structured class. So that'll be a nice, fun social gathering people can come to. More information will drop again on my website and on my IG and TikTok. And then my last thing I would love to just share, which I shared offline with Kenya, and KEISEAN knows, what I opened up with is the official launch of my dance company and the debut of the production day that we just did this past Sunday. Well, fingers crossed that my big brother Mike does what he's supposed to do. Okay. He's currently editing the footage. We want her to drop either on the 29th or the 30th of this month. It's very much Halloween themed. So I'm excited to share my like artistic and creative director aspects with you all. So I can't wait for you to see what that looks like. And then launching into next year will be the full launch. So a whole in-person audition is going to take place.
Wow.
You'll have 2 semesters throughout this year. There'll be live performances, filming, production, anything you can think of. I'm just going for it, and I know it's going to pay off. So yeah, thank you for
I
having
just
me.
need everybody to hear, for the record, my sister started a dance company, an actual dance company. You know who else had dance companies? Alvin Ailey, Debbie Allen, and now Karma Reigns. You heard it here. Dance company. I
And
don't want people to miss gravity of what that is. This is somebody who, when she was a little person, a little girl, said she wanted to be a television and a radio, and has been dancing untrained most of her life, has had very limited technical training in dance, and genuinely just has a natural gift. And she's giving it not freely, but she's giving it abundantly to the world.
Abundantly.
So it's a big deal. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, sister. Thank you.
I love, and I co-sign everything she just said. That's a massive deal to have that. And I love that it is just full of people who simply want dance in their life. And it's not about being, this professionally trained and you must whatever. This is about people who want to be a part of this and move and dance and be a part of your community. But you still make room for, if I'm not going to do the production, there's still room to still be a part of it. And that's what I love.
That part, exactly that, because the dance company is her own entity. Your other calling, come to class or book a private or come to a workshop. Like, you don't have to. Sensuality is her own world, and then the dance company is her own world. So, but there's something for everybody, and that's something that I do want to make sure people understand. You don't ever have to step foot in a sensuality class. You can do a one-on-one with me, or a private class, or a private workshop. Anything. It's also movement coaching. You don't have to do choreography in your privates. Movement coaching is one of my other callings. Some women and men and non-binary don't even know how to just walk in a room and feel comfortable with looking at themselves in a mirror, in front of the camera. There's so many other layers that I think we forget about when it comes to body empowerment. Dancing, choreography wise, is like one small aspect of true movement and what dance really actually means. So that's something that I want people to understand. Definitely. Yeah. Thank you.
This was so good. I mean, I knew it was going to be so good. I knew it. And I'm just so grateful that despite we had to reschedule things, I was going to be doing a retreat this time, but we didn't do it. But so I was trying to travel and have, Karma. So I'm just really grateful that we were able to still connect and have people, because this will live in this space, and I know my Wi-Fi is doing something funky. I see the little thing. I'm like, come on, Wi-Fi. But anyway, this will live on our YouTube. So this is really powerful, because people can always come back who may not ever know us personally and still be able to watch this and grab some information. So KEISEAN, any last minute things you want to ask? Come on.
I know that we're wrapping up shortly, and one last thing I want to ask you, Karma. I know you have to grab you good? Okay. She has to step away for a moment because she has to do that sometimes. But I did want to add before she comes back that Karma touched on the fact that she also offers movement coaching, private movement coaching. So she's worked with people who are preparing for performances, whether it's an acting performance or a stage performance. She's worked with them to teach them how to move in their body and take up space. She's also choreographed dances for married couples to do their first dance. She's also put together programs for people's retirement parties and corporate environments. So she does a lot of things. I just want to say that. I need to make sure y'all know she does a lot of things. But the last question I have for you, sister, is if you could say something to your 16-year-old self, what would you tell her?
Only my sister would ask that. 16-year-old self, Karma. 16-year-old self, Karma. You're brilliant. You are a genius. You truly are one of one and one of a kind. And do not let the city that you live in right now stop you from following your dreams. Know that you are so loved by your family, that you are about to create a phenomenal chosen family and a fiercely, fiercely dedicated community. And you're going to get everything that you are dreaming about literally in your 16-year-old mind plus more. But you're going to have to go through some difficult shit. It's not going to feel good. It's going to be extremely painful and uncomfortable. But if you keep your faith and your truth intact, you'll get there. And I didn't cry, not once, because I didn't look at KEISEAN while I said it. I looked directly into the camera lens.
Not me staring into the camera like this.
I love it. I love it. You guys did well for, I think, like, I'm like, would me and my sister be able to be this calm with each other? I don't know. I don't know. This was awesome. And thanks everybody, for the audience. We got lots of really beautiful, there's so many good comments. So you have to make sure you look in the comments. Daria, this was wonderful to listen to. Giovanna, I needed all of this. Letitia, oh my, this is where I was going. More so, there are young women that I would like to introduce you to. All these, yes, young women. Ooh, girl, that's a whole nother. That's part 7. Is how do we, tap into the generations of Black womanhood. Yeah,
There's
so
layers.
There's layers. And
Yeah, mommy's crying.
Tears. Yes.
Good job,
I would
Mom.
be too. I would be too. Kara, thank you. Fantastic. Loved it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I guess we've been doing this monthly. KEISEAN, we don't know what we're doing next month, y'all. We don't know. We don't know when.
We're going to be back. We've been here once a month. It's almost like you just have to make sure you're following us on social media. Make sure that you are subscribed to everybody's YouTube channel so that you will never miss a notification of when we're going to go live. And just know we will not let a month go by without seeing you at least once.
She's so good with that. See how diplomatic and wonderful? Because I'm like, girl, I don't know what we doing. But yes, we will be back.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Also, anyone that wants to know, I'm based in Los Angeles, so that's my home hub. However, like KEISEAN said, we travel wherever. Also, side note, KEISEAN is my manager. So if you want to know numbers and how to get me and all the things, contact KEISEAN. She's the one. She doesn't do as much laughing and like fun stuff as I do. So artists need a manager that can just, you know what I mean, like that.
Mainly, she don't work for free. That's all you need to know. Yes.
No, you don't. Artists, we are contributing.
They don't work for free. But yes, this was great. Yes, and Karma will travel. And thank you, Gigi, for being here. Thank you, everybody who's on the East Coast, for tuning in. I know it's a whole other time zone, but this has been great. Thanks, Kenya, for making this happen. Thank you, sister, for being available and sharing some of your story. This was really good.
Yeah. Thank you both. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Blessings to all. Thank you, everybody in the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna end our live. Ladies, stay tight just for a moment, and we'll see you guys next month. Take care. Good night. Bye.